Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully you can hear me. That is my prime goal. I had some microphone issues last week that are hopefully not going to repeat themselves again today. So if I am just talking and no sound's coming out, I would appreciate you letting me know. So, this morning, I slept really well, but I'm still also sleepy. Are we just always perpetually sleepy nowadays? Nonetheless, we're going to do a class today that's focused on twisting and side bending. Twisting and side bending are my favorite things ever. We don't do them enough. Flexion is overrated. So we're going to focus on the other two spinal movements that don't get enough love, in my opinion, as they should. Our spine does 4 types of movement. It does flexion, which is rounding, extension, which is the opposite of flexion and heart opening, you could say, side bending, going side to side, lateral flexion, and then twisting. So going along that transverse plane for all you anatomy geeks like myself. So in our daily life, if you think about, how your spine moves in a day, do you hit all of those 4 types of movement during the day? And if you don't, maybe something to be mindful about, especially twisting. Twisting is something that we don't do a lot of, I would say, during the day for most of us. And it's one of those movements that a lot of us don't do correctly or make a lot of compensations for. And I think we've all been there where we've hurt ourselves from just turning around. That could be potentially due to a lack of twisting just in our life in general. So we're going to twist a little bit today. We're going to side bend a little bit today. We're going to talk a little bit about what that means and have a good class. So before we get completely started, a couple of disclaimers per usual. If you are a beginner, this is your first time here, welcome, so glad you're here. This class will be open level, so if this is your first time here or your third time this week, there will be something here for all of you. Finding our edge and challenging ourselves is one thing. Pain is another thing, and especially fighting through pain and just moving through pain is something that we never want to do ever. So if at any point you experience pain, abort mission and either take a modification that I will provide in the class or take a pause and join us in our next exercise. There are some exercises that our bodies are just not going to like. I've got a list of them. There's just certain exercises where for whatever reason, sometimes it depends on the day, it's just not working. And that's okay. It's not a sign of failure. It's not a sign of regression if you're working towards a fitness goal. It could be a lot of different reasons why something may not serve you today, and that's okay. This class is about having fun, it's about learning new things, and it's about just flopping around on the mat and exploring. Because that's really what we're doing. We're not training for the Olympics. We're not doing a performance of Pilates. We're flopping around on our mat and we're learning some new things. So that's what class is about. So keep that in mind as we begin today. With that, let's begin today. So we're going to start lying down on our mat. You're going to bend your knees and just bring your back flat to the floor. I'm going to take one more sip of my coffee. It's such a bummer because I feel like my coffee cools down so quickly. I like it very hot. That's a huge part of the experience for me. And once it's lukewarm, the experience is gone. It's a fleeting moment. I don't know if any of you feel this way about hot coffee, but it's very important to me. So one final sip here. And I will join you on the floor. So before we start specializing in particular planes of motion and types of movement, we are going to make sure that we're warmed up across all of our movement planes. So feet are going to be inner hip width distance apart. So if you're not sure what that is, find the bony landmarks of your hips and then follow that line down. And that's going to be your inner hip width. It's a little different than the width of your silhouette. Even though the mic is working, she's being finicky today, so bear with me. All right. Feet are planted down on the mat. Let's find our neutral position here with our spine. So we want our tailbone down onto the mat. So a good check of this is using your pubic bone as a guide. Is your pubic bone pointing majorly up to the ceiling? Is it really, really pointing downward? We want to find the in-between of these extremes with this. So I like to imagine my sacrum, which is the triangle bottommost portion of my spine, just pressing down into the mat gently, and then also feeling that kind of stretch away from me. And that's what I'm looking to find here. It's kind of a down and forward movement towards my feet. And that's going to help kind of set you in place. You're going to feel a little more balanced between both sides. From here, we work our way up. Start to take your front body and draw it down towards your back body. There's a little isolation that happens in Pilates where if you've ever worn a t-shirt that has a seam down the sides, I like to imagine that when we do Pilates at different points of different exercises, sometimes we have the front part, the frontmost part of that seam working, or we have the backmost part behind that seam working. So there's an isolation here and a separation of different parts of our body. So thinking about drawing that front body down towards the back body without changing the back body. And now we think about the rib cage. As we draw the front towards the back, we may feel the rib cage kind of splay open to the ceiling. We may feel the back of the ribs kind of pick up a little bit. Start to feel your front two ribs draw closer towards center and feel the bottom tips of your ribs on your back body draw down towards the mat. This is going to create a little lift in your lower back. Just about 2 fingers worth should be able to slide through. This is your neutral spine position. So we still have a natural curve in our spine here. There's still curviness. We haven't made it a completely straight line. We've just removed the extremities from that, and that's what we're looking for in that position. This is what we hope to take with us to our standing position and out the door into our day. Let's breathe a little bit in this position. So on your next inhale, draw your front body towards your back body and feel your rib cage expand side to side and into the mat. Can you get air through 360 to the back? And on your exhale, imagine there's a rubber band around your rib cage and it starts to hug equally in towards an imaginary center line in the middle of your body. Inhale to expand. Exhale, you feel that hug towards center. 3 more times. Inhale, breathing into the sides and back of the ribs. Exhale, hugging that imaginary midline. 2 more times. So we don't have a lot of rising and lowering of the stomach. There's a little less of that. So this is a lot more engaged and targeting your diaphragm and your innermost core muscle, your transverse abdominis. Finishing your last exhale here, bring your arms long by your side, keeping your collarbones nice and wide. I want you to just take a little rock of the head side to side. Most of us carry a ton of tension in our neck. It's not going to serve us in the long run, that's for sure. We want our abs to do the work here, not our neck. So from here, let's do a little spinal flexion to start. You're going to bring your arms up to the ceiling. Take an inhale. Exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat into your Pilates curl position. So just the bottom tips of the ribs are tapping the mat. You maintain that reach of your tailbone down. Don't smush the lower back into the mat. Keep the back of the neck long and soft for 3, 2, 1. With control, lower down. The dismount is just as important as getting into the exercise. Take an inhale. Exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and lower all the way down. Last time here, you're going to curl up and hold. From here, lift your arms up to the ceiling, maintaining your curl, and then bring them back down. And inhale. And exhale, last time. And exhale, lower down. Flexion done. Let's do a little bit of side to side now. Keeping that same position of the arms, check in with your fingers here. This is a minor detail, but it makes a difference. Thumbs with fingers, glue them together, nice and long fingers. On your next exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up and hold. From here, you're going to slide your right fingertips long towards the front of your mat and find a little side bend in your curl. So there'll be a contraction of the right and a lengthening of the left. And then come back through center, staying just as high, transfer to the other side. And then come back through center, switch. And come back through center, switch. Make sure that your head stays pretty center here. We don't want to lead with the head. We lead with that side bend at the waist. Last set. Last time. Lower down. Rock your head side to side. From here, we add on a little bit. Take your hands, stack one on top of the other, and bring it behind the nape of your neck. We don't want to interlace the hands because it's easy to just let the weight of your curl hang back in your hands, and then we're not doing Pilates. So from here, on your next exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Your right armpit is going to twist towards your left knee. As you lift your shoulder up, try to keep your opposite hip down, and then come back through center. And twist, and center, and twist. Hips stay down, rib cage rotates. Let's go 4, and 3, 2, last time. Lower down with control. Rock yourself side to side. All right, hug your knees into your chest. Maybe take a little movement for your lower back. Move into our 100. So for our 100, legs can start in tabletop if we're still working towards straight. Legs can come up to the ceiling with the knees bent, or they can start to lengthen and lower down towards the floor. The longer and the further they are to the floor, the more difficult this is. So find what works for you today. Tabletop is a great place to start. Legs straight up to the ceiling, just working on getting those legs straight is also really important as well. So I'll demo a little bit of everything as we move through this, and then we'll add a little bit of a twist to our 100. Got that pun? Bring your arms up to the ceiling. Take an inhale. Exhale, head, neck, and shoulders curl up. You find your legs at your working level today. 3 pumps for here. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more times like this. Standard 100 stuff. Last time. Exhale. Now we're going to find a little twist. Arms come over to the side. Pump. Inhale. And exhale. Trying to stay even. Inhale. And exhale. Switch 2 times on the other side. Keep those hips down. Twist and reach your armpit towards your knee. Exhale. Come back through center. We side bend like we did before. Keep pumping. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more time each side. It's a little harder with the pumping arms. Coordination challenge. Hug your knees in, lower, down. Legs are going to reach long on the mat right away. Reach your arms up and behind you. Take a long yawning stretch. Let it feel good. 3 traditional roll-ups, and then we add our special themed element here. Arms come up to the ceiling. On your next exhale, we roll through our Pilates curl. all the way up to seated. If you have to take a bend to the knees, that's fine. Drop your head, reach your waist back as your fingertips reach past your toes. And then slowly take it back bone by bone. Get your lower back, middle back, upper back down. Right away on your next exhale, we come up. Dive forward. Slowly take it back. The slower you go, the stronger you get. Last time here on your next exhale, dive forward. From here, stack all the way up to tall. We go around the world. Sitting up tall, twist your rib cage to the right. Begin to roll down with control on that right side. When we get to the bottom, arms circle up and around. You twist to the left and rise on your left side. Now we twist to the left. Go on down. Around the world. And back up. One more on each side. Feel as if your upper body is just sliding backwards. We want that C-curve shape and that twist to come from our waist, not from our shoulders, not from the turn of our neck. And we end all the way up. Now from here, we find our half roll down. I was going to do something else. That's weird. From here, you're going to take your top arm, your right arm. It's going to circle up and around. You tap the mat and bring it forward. Twist up and around, tap the mat. Don't change your C-shaped position. We have 4. And 3. And 2. Last time. Roll all the way down with control. Hug your right knee into your chest, moving right into our single leg circle here. Hands grab behind the thigh, calf, or ankle, and just extend the leg to the ceiling. This is not about flexibility. This is just about getting a stretch and more space in the back of the leg before we get started. Flexibility is not a competition. We're going to do our uber classic single leg circle here. So keeping the leg up to the ceiling. This is the one where we take the hip up. So usually we want the hips down for single leg circles. This is a variation where we're really working the twist. So our shoulders stay down, but our hips are going to lift. You're going to take that leg around, drop your hips, keep them down as you circle all the way back up. 2 more times in this direction. You lift your hips, take it around, and bring it all the way back up. 1 more time in this direction. Control is important. Use your oblique, your side body, to control the twist coming back down. Now we reverse. Take it around. Lift your hip, and then find that oblique to come back through center. Out. Around, lift your hip, and bring it up. Hopefully you're not hitting your bookshelf like I am. And bring it up. Bend your knee into your chest. We'll take that leg across the body, supine twist. Big inhale. And big exhale. Leg comes back through center. Quick switch of the legs. I don't care how you get there today. Hug that left leg into your chest. If you're just realizing you did the left leg just now, it doesn't matter. We do both sides. I also can't see you, so if you do the wrong side, you just do the other side the next time. The joy of anonymity in that way. All right, from here, let's go for our twist. You take the leg across, you lift your hip, circle around, bring it back up. 2 more times. Last time. And now reverse. Even though we're moving a little quicker, control stays, so we don't just let the leg toss around without any control or mindfulness. Last time. Bend your knee into your chest, take your leg across your body. Supine twist. One of the best morning exercises, in my opinion, and stretches. Any morning twist is a good twist. Come back through center. We're going to do our ab series pretty quickly today so we can hit more of our theme today. So, as with all of our other modification principles, the straighter the leg, the longer it is away from you, the more distal the leg is from the body, and the lower it is to the floor is how things are more advanced. Because you need to really have a level of core strength and stamina to be able to keep your leg hovering up off the floor. You would think that the lower the leg is to the floor is easier. It's actually not. So, tabletop, straight up to the ceiling, 45 degrees. These are all good spots if you're building strength or this is your first time. If you want to challenge it, you can start to take the legs a little lower. Find your edge. So what we don't want to do is blow past our edge and completely lose any stability in this series. So lower lift is a great example. When we're lowering the legs down towards the floor, once you start to compromise or make concessions and change your neutral spine position, we have lost the base of the exercise. So be mindful of that as we move through not just the ab series, but everything else. If you find that your neutral spine position is being compromised by advancing an exercise, that means we're not quite there yet, and we have to pull back our edge a little bit more. It's important to do this and be mindful of this, because it not only prevents us from injury, it also allows us to understand our bodies a little more about, what we may need to focus on more. We can identify weaknesses a little more effectively. This is kind of the Pilates mindfulness. It's a little different from maybe other forms of a mindful practice. To me, I've always liked it because it feels almost a little more scientific. Like I'm thinking about muscles and how they work and the concessions that maybe I take or compromises I take to advance an exercise when I shouldn't. So these are all things to be mindful of. We're going to move through this pretty quickly. We're going to keep our head, neck, and shoulders up in our curl for the entirety of the ab series. So if at any point that's too much, lower your head, neck, and shoulders down. But that's going to be our challenge today. We are going to try and stay up the whole time. All right, with that, that's my spiel. I'm going to take one more sip of coffee and we're going to get ready to go. All righty. Lying down for single leg stretch. Hug the knees into your chest. Take an inhale. Exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. It'll stay up for now. Grab onto your right leg. Straighten your left leg long. And now switch. And switch. And switch. And switch. You have 3. And 2. I know we do everything in sets here. Last time. Stay in your curl. Both legs hug into your chest. Stretch your arms and legs away from each other. Double leg stretch, hold. And bring it in. Curl through your arms. Hold the pose. And bring it in. You have 3 more. And in. Crease at your breastbone. Keep the neck long and soft. Last time. Bring your right leg up to the ceiling. Grab behind the thigh, calf, or ankle. Scissor the left leg long. You pulse, pulse, and scissor switch. Pulse, pulse, and scissor switch. Control that transition. Like single leg circles. We don't want to just throw the leg around. 2 more. Last time. Here we go, almost there. Legs come up to the ceiling or to tabletop. Hands come behind the head. You will lower the legs to your working level and lift them back up. Try to keep the elbows fairly wide here. And lift. Maintain that neutral spine. Find that edge. 2 more. Curl up towards your thighs. Last time. Lift up, legs come to tabletop. We crisscross, left armpit to right knee. And switch, and switch, and switch for 3, and 2. Last set, last one, we're done. Wow. Take your legs the width of the mat. Arms can come out to a T overhead, and just bring them side to side. I always find that I'm feeling really good, and then we get to lower lift, and I'm like, uh-oh. From here, separate your legs a little wider than the width of your mat. Flex your feet, feel a lot of length through your legs here. Bring your arms up to the ceiling, take an inhale. Exhale, roll all the way up to seated. Let's bring more of our twisting and side bending focus back. So from here, we're going to bring our arms parallel to the floor. We're going to do a little weird around the world spine stretch situation. We're going to play with a couple of different variations here. So keeping your arms parallel to the floor, I want you to be able to sit right up on those sits bones. So if we're rounding and we're reaching towards our toes, take a bend to the knees and imagine you have a back of a chair kind of supporting you here. Create a lot of space between your ribs and your hips. We want to feel like we're lifting up, feeling really light off the floor and not bent and not kind of bearing down into the mat. From here, we're going to take an open arm twist. The left arm stays where it is. The right arm is going to open twist. Wring out your waist like a towel. So your hips stay square to the front, but your ribs twist to the side. Now come back through center. We take our spine stretch forward. You slide your arms forward as you drop your head towards the mat. Lift your ribs to the ceiling. We're creating a lot of space between the ribs and the hips. Stack all the way up to tall, and then we take it to the other side. The left arm open arm twists. Rib cage rotates around itself. Come back through center, spine stretch. And stack it all the way up to tall. We have 2 more times like that. Grow taller as you twist, like a spiral staircase. It's a classic cue from classical Pilates. Barbershop pole, spiral staircase. Lots of imagery of a spiral going up to the ceiling. A double helix. What else could we use? Not a slinky. Maybe slinkies are a little too ooey gooey. Let me know what you think. Well, final spine stretch here. You can drop your arms down and just breathe easy. Really drop your head here. You'll get a big stretch through the back of your neck. From here, lift your arms back up to that parallel position. Roll all the way up to tall. Circle your arms behind you and roll your shoulders open. Take a little chest expansion here. All right, so from here, we're going to do our second variation on this around the world twisting thing. It's going to be a side bend addition to this. So we'll do our twist and do our side bend. So hands are going to stack that same way, one on top of the other, behind the nape of your neck. When we bring our hands behind our head, if we have tight chests, the tendency may be to kind of pop the chest and pop the booty, maybe the shoulders shrug up. That's for the club later tonight. Want you to maintain the stack of your hips and your ribs over each other. So thinking about what we did in warm-up, the drawing into the center line of the front body, and then that engagement and stability through the back body. Elbows, if you see your elbows in your periphery, totally valid. We don't want them super flat to the sides anyway. Keeping your head pressing back into your hands. From here we twist, twisting to the right, and now hold here and check in. Are you favoring one hip over the other? Are we leaning forward? Are we back? Want you to be very center here so that we're twisting around our imaginary center line and that we don't lean away from it or towards it in an asymmetrical way. Come back through center. Now we side bend over. It's kind of like a little side sit-up. Your hips stay down, but you're arcing over to the right. And lift up to center. Twist to the left. Same thing, grow taller and deepen your twist. And center. Now we tip to the left, keeping the hip down. And come all the way up with control. Twist. And center. And side bend. And center. On your next exhale, twist, wring out your waist. And inhale, center. Exhale, lift up and over. And center. Use your breath to help you. Last time here. And center. And side bend. And center. Last time. Big exhale, side bend over. And center. Shake it out, drop your head. Reach forward, shake out the legs. I'm going to take a couple head circles. I took a K-pop dance class yesterday, and my girls, Itzy, are bringing the hair whips, and I'm feeling it today because I brought the head whips when I probably shouldn't. Lots of ponytail. It was very fun, but I'm paying for it now. So I definitely need the neck stretch today. All right. Let's transition to our stomach. We're going to do some extension and add in some twisting and some side work as well to this. There's always ways to mix up these exercises, and that's what's really fun about it. All right, so for our swan, if this is your first time or your lower back is not feeling too great, I recommend taking a wider stance with the legs. The just mat width is going to be perfect. The more advanced you are, if you want to challenge it, the more narrow your stance goes. So I'm going to take a fairly narrow stance today because I want to, and I want to see how it feels. But if you're not there yet, start out wide, and then as we move through these, you can start to play with the width of your legs. All right, this caffeine isn't working. Why is my voice disappearing? If anyone's got good tips on how to keep coffee hot, let me know, because now it's cold and it's sad. All right, we're going to play with some variations in our swan prep today. So your hands are going to stack. This, I guess, is the other theme of class. We're stacking our hands one on top of the other, and we're bringing our forehead to our hands. Now don't fall asleep. That's a reminder for me. Let's play with our swan prep. So the first thing we need to do is find that neutral spine position once more. We've flipped the orientation. So you're going to lift your abs away from the mat and draw your pubic bone down towards the floor. This is going to create that neutral spine position where we're kind of taking the load out of our lower back. Because with swan, with heart opening and extension, it can be easy to turn this into more of a lower back bend situation. We want to work on stabilizing the lower back so that we can work the muscles of the core and the upper back. And that's the purpose of swan in Pilates. It may look like cobra from yoga or other types of back bend situations, but this is going to be our focus for this style of extension. On your next exhale, you're going to lift your abs away from the mat, draw your pubic bone towards the floor, and lift your head, chest, and heart to a hover. Unless you're a ballerina, you're going to go all the way up to the ceiling. If that's the case, I'm jealous. But it might not go very high off the mat. That's okay. This is not easy to do. And then lower all the way down. My extension's been about the same height for most of my life. Maybe one day I'll be able to just bend backwards in half. That's the dream. On your next exhale, lift up and hold. Now from here, I want you to not only just lift up, but think reach long, like someone's got a string on your sternum and they're pulling you long. It's as much of a reach forward as it is up, and they inform and help each other. Slowly lower down, finding that reach as you lower. Let's try that 2 more times. On your next exhale, lift up. Feel that reach long and lift up, and then lower down. 1 more time here. And lower down. Now we add our twist. On your next exhale, we're going to add a side bend. Lift up for your side bend. You're going to tip at the waist to the right, trying to stay even on your hips, and center, and left, and center, and right, and center, and left, and center for 2. Last time. Lower down. All right. We add a challenge. We're going to go around the world again. Your arms are going to come long by your sides. Palms are going to face your hips, because we're going to add a chest opener. You're going to lift up into your swan, reaching your fingertips long behind you. With the arms long, you may be able to get up a little higher. Pull your triceps to the ceiling. We're going to do what we did in our warm-up. Slide that right hand towards the side. Come back through center, interlace the hands, punch the fingertips to the ceiling, find a little chest opener. Stay lifted, release your arms, we tip over to the side. And center, interlace the hands, punch the knuckles up, lift up. Come down to the right and center, punch up and center and tip and center, punch up and hold. From here, lift your legs up behind you. Maybe the thighs come to a hover. Can you lift up higher and get longer? Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Press yourself back, find a child's pose. Take a wide leg child's pose today. Normally I give you an option, but today I'm going to make you do one. I'm going to pick for you. Breathing easy here. Let your chest sink through your shoulders. And then let's add a twist. We'll thread the needle, taking the right arm underneath. This can be a shoulder stretch or it can be a twist. I like to take that top arm and bring it behind me for a little bind for my yogis. So you can take this however you like. Treat it more as a shoulder stretch. Treat it more as a chest opening twist. Wherever you are, start to unravel that back to your start position, and we take it to the other side. I'm just going to check to make sure I don't moon you, and then take it across. It is almost February. Unbelievable. How are we all feeling about that? I have to check, the Mercury and retrograde and all the universe stuff to see how this month's going to go, but I hope it goes okay. I've got a lot I need to get done. So I'm hoping for a positive, productive February. And come back through center. Alrighty. Leg series. We love leg series. So, why do we love leg series? Because, I don't know, at least for me, it makes me feel kind of fabulous. You're kind of posing on your mat. You're kicking your leg. It feels very theatrical and fun. I think it's a very playful way to kind of start the last third of class. It's still core work. I think I have some clients that when it's time for leg series, they're like, oh, it's a break from our core. It's not. Everything in Pilates goes back to your core, so don't be deceived. But it's just a little less spicy and a little more fun to do leg series. And since we're doing the theme with side bending, we're going to do a different version of what we have done in the past. We've kept it pretty classic over the past few weeks on Sunday with leg series. But hi, thanks for chatting. Yes, at this time I only stream on Sundays at 10 a.m. And then I will also be streaming on the third Tuesday of every month. And that class is a cos Pilates class, which is cosplay and Pilates together. So it's a themed class around a character from anime or pop culture or cartoons. So that's my current schedule. I'm hoping to add more classes in the future. But if you can't make these live classes, I post all of them up on my channel, so you can always check them out after the fact. But yeah, I hope I will be able to add more in the coming weeks. But that's my current schedule. The first Sunday. Oh, cool. I'm glad. So yeah, the Sunday, every Sunday 10 a.m. EST, and third Tuesday of the month. Cool. I'm looking forward to having you. Great. You made my day. So let's get started on our leg series. So since this is a side bending themed class, we're gonna take our position a little different today. So always option with the upper body. You can keep your arm long and lay on your bicep as a pillow, or you can take the hand and support your head like so. Your top hand will always be in front of your chest. There's no difference in difficulty between bicep pillow and bent elbow. There is a difficulty difference between top hand going away and top hand staying. So this is the decision that determines your spicy fate. So whichever one works for you today. We are going to start with the legs all the way at the back of the mat. Normally, we have them to the front, more classical, traditional side lying series. But today we are going to find a perfect straight line at the back edge of your mat. Thank you so much. Yes, I love the emojis. If you've got a favorite emoji, let me know. I like the gold sparkle emoji, the three sparkly stars. I use that 100 times a day. Feel like it captures most of my feelings about things. Especially this leg series. We're going to feel sparkly after this. Our sweat will be sparkly, our legs will be sparkly, and we'll be ready to go. So finding that long line at the back edge of your mat, we want to think stacked. So that means legs on top of legs, feet on top of feet, hips on top of hips, shoulders on top of shoulders. We want to be a perfect straight line, like we're sandwiched between two panes of glass. This is going to allow our core to fire on to help us maintain this position. Once we start doing a little dance, forward and back, we're not holding our core to keep us in this shape. So that's what I want you to think. Even as we start to do funky things with the legs, bring it back to the core and how we can find stability in the exercise. With that, legs are going to stack. We're going to point the toes because we're fancy and sparkly today. You're going to lift both legs up to a hover, trying to stay balanced on that hip, keeping them stacked. And then lower it down. And lift. And lower. For 3. And 2. This time lift up and hold. You're going to do little beats with the legs. Little beats. For 4. 3, 2, and 1. Now we go little scissors back and forth, little walks. And now from here they start to get a little bigger. And from here they get a little bigger. And now from here they get really big. Split the legs and split the legs. For 3, 2, 1. Bring the legs back. Lower them down. For a moment. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift them back up again. Little pendulum, top leg lifts, it lowers. Now the lower leg comes to tap the mat and bring it back up and down. It's a little Newton's cradle. Last time. Bend your knees into your chest. We're going to take that side lying position that we do with our fetal 5. So finding the shins parallel to the front edge of the mat. It should look like you're sitting in a chair if someone was sitting above you. This is going to look like a clamshell, but it's not. It targets your waist directly. I did this once in a class and I was never the same. So I hope you enjoyed this exercise. We are going to point our toes. Toes are going to come up to the ceiling. Knees are going to point down. And then we're going to just lower it back down. So we're lifting the toes without changing the hips. And lift and lower. And lift and lower. How high can the toes go up? And lift. For 3, 2, this last time we're going to lower back down. Shoot your legs out back to that long line. We're going to transition to our stomach. Everyone meet with that top hand. Bring it behind your head. We're going to control flop to our stomach. Oh. Beat the inner thighs together for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Press back, find a child's pose. Wow. Surprise. Oh, I love that one. That's a cool emoji. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. I learn something new every day. This is me not wearing my glasses, needing to get really close to the screen to be able to see it. It was very funny. I feel like doing the Huacheng-Kos Pilates was very revealing at how much my vision has deteriorated over the past few years, because I did the whole class in an eye patch, and I put the eye patch on and I started class and I went, wow, I can't see anything. I didn't realize my eye was that bad. I knew it wasn't good. I didn't know it was that bad. So that was an important Kos Pilates for me to do a little check. Let's go to the other side. Alrighty. From here, we find our perfect straight line at the back of the mat. Sometimes I have to do a little classical check to make sure that I'm all stacked and ready to go. Point your fancy feet, lift your legs up, and lower them down, and lift, and lower, for 3, and 2. Lift up and hold. We beat the inner thighs, and beat, and beat. Keep reaching your legs away from you. Keep finding length here, for 3, 2, and 1. Hold. We go for little splits, low walks. And then when they get a little bigger, and then they get a little bigger, and then they get the biggest and the most controlled. For 3, 2, 1. Bring the legs together, lower down for a moment. Take an exhale, lift the legs up. Newton's cradle, top leg, then bottom. Top and bottom. 3 more times. Maybe this time you play with removing that arm. Woo! Last time. Bend your knees into your chest. We go for our little mermaid tail flick. That's what I'll call it. Lift it up and down and up and down. Don't sink your torso into the mat. Feel a little lift away here for 4 and 3. Lift under that armpit. 2. Last time. Let's end the way that we did last time. Shoot the legs behind you. Transition to your stomach. This time we'll swim up and down. Bring the legs up and down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Press yourself back into your child's pose. All right. It's teaser time. Twisting teaser time. There are some wild variations on teasers that I have done in the past, specifically with twisting included in the variation. We're not going to get too crazy today. We're going to keep it pretty classical in terms of our variations today. You're going to see a little stomach massage influence from Reformer. You're also going to see a teaser for teaser, a teaser for teaser, or a teaser for prep that involves twisting. Teaser 4 is really fun. If you're interested in streams where we just do like exercise breakdowns, let me know, because I would love to do those as well, if that would be helpful. Because some of these exercises get a little weird and sometimes need a little more explanation. All right, we're going to start lying down on our backs. So for teaser, as always, it's the same as the 100. Tabletop, we start, legs up to the ceiling, legs long. The longer and lower they go, the more challenging. So, I will do a little bit of everything to demo. I'll start with the legs and tabletop and then work my way out. We're going to do 3 teasers. First one's going to be classic. We're not going to add anything funky. The next 2 will get funky, so get ready. Let's do it. Legs are going to come to your start position. Arms are going to come up to the ceiling. Feel that tailbone down on the mat. Feel reach with the legs. Even in tabletop, knees over hips. You should already start to feel a lengthening and a reach of the lower half towards the front of the mat. Lean into this. This helps you get up. And follow through. If you get stuck and then you get in your head, get out of your head, continue your exhale, we'll get all the way through. Follow through. Think of it like shooting a foul shot in basketball. Take an inhale. Big exhale. Hold your exhale all the way. Start to breathe out. Curl all the way up. Find your V shape. Open up at the top. We hold for 3, 2, 1. Keep the legs where they are. Roll all the way down with control. So don't stop. You start that exhale. You keep moving through until you get to that final stop. All right, we're going to add our twists now. Legs will come long or down to the floor or to tabletop. On your next exhale, we roll up. Reach for your toes. Open your chest at the top. Hold your legs where they are. Twist to the right. Oh my gosh, and center. And left. And center. Last 2. Last time. Roll all the way down to your start position. Hug the knees into your chest. So that was upper body. Now we do lower body twisting. And maybe we add a circle. I know. I'm going to do teaser 3, which is where everything's on the floor, and then we lift up into our V shape. If you're like, not today, Sarah, I'm going to stick to my other variation. You do that. You do what works for you today. Get ready for our little twistaroo. Take an inhale. Exhale, roll all the way up. Find your V shape. Arms stay where they are. Take your legs to the right and center and left and center. Now maybe to the right, circle down and around. Oh my gosh, and switch. Left circle. Hold your teaser at the top. Roll all the way down. Hug your knees into your chest. Right away, rock yourself up to seated. The less we think about it, the better it is. So the leg circles, and then for teaser 4, we add arm circles in the opposite direction. So you're doing this. It's wild. You feel absolutely ridiculous doing it, but it's a lot of fun. We're going to end a little differently today. We're going to end with some side work and some twisting as per the theme, and close out with our front support. So we might go a little over today, but I started a little late because of this microphone. This microphone's got an attitude with me today and last week. Maybe February will work out better for you. Be on your best behavior, okay? All right, let's start. Right leg is going to stretch out long into what I call an action hero position. That is not the formal name of this. I call it action hero position because it kind of looks like Spider-Man kind of landing off of a skyscraper, being really cool. So that's my interpretation of that. Oh, thank you so much. I only strive to be helpful. Exactly. There's always something that goes wrong right before showtime. So let's find our action hero position. So an important part of this is that your toes are pointing front. So we don't want to be here. We want to be here. Hips are forward. So same thing. We don't want to be too forward or back. Think of stacking your ribs and your hips one on top of the other. Hands are going to come behind your head. This looks familiar. We move into a side sit-up, mermaid side bend variation. Bear with me. So from here, keep drawing your pelvis forward like you're sandwiched between two panes of glass. Be mindful of that stack of the hips. It's going to change how this feels. You're going to tip to the left, away from that long leg. How low can you go over the leg? And then come all the way back up, crunch over to the other side. 2 more times. We lengthen to come down, and then lift up and over. Lift the bottom tips of the ribs. Last time like this. Up and over to your counter crunch. And now we add a twist. Find your long line in your side sit up and hold. Twist your torso towards the mat and center. 2 more. Last time. From here, left hand drops down. Now we're in a little side plank position. Stretch your top arm overhead. Feel a little stretch. Calm before the side plank. Now from here, top arm comes up to the ceiling. Press into that foot. Take your bent leg, bring it behind or to stack. Side plank. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly dismount the way you came. Come all the way back up. Cool. Let's switch to the other side. Action hero pose. Hatsune Miku. From here, we go right into our side sit-ups on the other side. Lengthen to tip over. And then come up in your counter crunch. So this should feel both strengthening and stretchy. It's part side plank, part stretch. Now we find that long line and we add our twist. Long line, twist towards your mat and center. Try and keep your hip where it is. And center. Last time. Bottom hand comes down. You side bend over, calm before your side plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, we find our side plank. Get into that long line. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back the way you came. And then we'll transition to a quadruped position. Moving into a flowy front support to finish, nice and symmetrical. From here, stretch your right leg behind you. Bring your left leg to meet it in your Pilates stance. Heels together, toes apart for your plank. Hold here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pike your hips up to the ceiling, down dog. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Slowly roll all the way up to tall. Think of this like your standing roll up. Be just as detail oriented. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Walk your hands out to your plank. Option to hold your plank or take 3 push-ups. Here we go for 3, 2, 1. Pike your hips up. Walk your hands back. Take an inhale at the bottom. Exhale. Roll all the way up to tall. Grand finale. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Walk your hands out. Final round of push-ups or hold your plank. This time we go 4. This time we go 3. Just 2 more left. Last time. Pike your hips up to the ceiling. Push-ups. Walk your hands back. Drop your head. Let it feel good. Take an inhale. Exhale. Roll all the way up to tall. When you reach the top, draw your shoulders back. and you are ready for your day, evening, weekend, whatever. Good job, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed class. I will be streaming every Sunday at 10 a.m. EST, and then the third Tuesday of the month for Cos Pilates. This month's Cos Pilates is going to be Final Fantasy VII related because the second part of Rebirth comes out, and I can't be more excited as one of the biggest Final Fantasy fans ever. So get excited for that. If you have any ideas for classes or characters you would like to see me sequence for Cos Pilates, let me know. I love doing themed classes. So cool. Yeah, Final Fantasy is my favorite thing ever. And if I don't get requests from people, I tend to just do Final Fantasy characters because it's my favorite thing. So I do a lot of Final Fantasy. I try to diversify, but it's my first love. It's my favorite thing ever. So if you are interested and would like to, this is my handle on Instagram and on TikTok. I just started my TikTok a week or so ago, so I'm working on getting some content up there. But you can join me on Instagram or TikTok. Instagram, I do more updates on classes and polls and things. I'm still learning TikTok. I'm just trying to be hip. But if you have any requests or any feedback, you can check me out there and let me know. I hope to see you next week. I hope to see you at Cos Pilates this month. And, oh, well, thank you. So, yeah, it's going to be a great month of Pilates. And I hope to see you there. And I hope to see you on the mat soon. Thank you. Bye.